Hi Year 9, I just wanted to quickly summarise for you two of the strategies that we're going to look at for solving linear equations. Getting a solution just means I find a value that will make my statement true. So anytime I'm looking at an equation, it has a pronumeral. That pronumeral is basically a question mark. Okay? You've been doing things like this since you were in kindergarten. Question mark plus 2 equals 3. What's the question mark? Okay, all we're doing now is using a pronumeral instead of a question mark where there's something that we don't know. Okay, so in class we will sort of play around with both of these strategies, but I just wanted to summarize them for you here now. So the first way that we can think about an equation is like a balance beam. Okay, so a pair of scales that's got weights on both sides of those scales. Okay, so just like a pair of scales, we want to keep them balanced. Okay, and if I have a set of scales, if I take something off one side, I need to take the same amount off the other side to keep them balanced. So I could think of this as a pair of scales. Over on this side, I've got 2 x's and 2. And over on this side, I've got 4. And I can tell you these scales are balanced. And my question is, how can I work out what's in this box that's labeled X that would mean that the scales are balanced? Okay, and I'm going to show you some online things where we can go through that process and see what's happening. Okay, quickly here, what it would look like is, well, I could take 2 blocks off both sides. Okay, I did the same thing to both sides, so those two, the scales should still be balanced. Okay, then I would look and say, oh, I've got 2 x's over here and 2 here. So what's in that box needs to be a 1 in each box. That's the only way that those scales could stay balanced. And so I would call that a solution to my equation. I've got a number that could be in that box that would make my scales balance. Okay. Another way that we can think about what's happening with an equation is to think of it that I started with a number, I've done some operations to it, and I've got a final value. And my job now is to undo all those operations to get back to what was the value that I started with. So here I've sort of drawn a picture. It's as if I started with some unknown number X, and I know that I doubled that number, and then I added 2, and I ended up at the number 4. Okay, and my question would be, how can I work out what number that I started with? Well, if I just undo those operations, I should be able to work back to where I was at the beginning. So if this is 4, the number that I came from needs to be 2. Okay, I have to be able to add 2 to that number to get 4. So if I take 2 away, that tells me that this number was 2. Okay, now my number here, I multiplied it by 2 and I got 2. How do I get back to what that number was? I would need to divide by 2. Okay, and 2 divided by 2 would tell me that the number in the box is 1. Okay, so both of these strategies help me to solve this same equation. Okay, sometimes it's a matter of deciding which way do you prefer or which way helps you to understand it the best. Okay, online we're going to play around with some scales and looking at how we can balance them. And then in class when we're sitting out, we'll look at some of these ways of how we can undo the operations that have been done to a number in order to get back to the beginning. I'll see you soon.